We pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars.
No! No! We cannot pretend like airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. Airplanes don't exist. Amity doesn't even know what they are. And this meme is just... Ah! Hey! Random here. So the rest of Season 2A has been released onto Disney+, so of course I gave those 5 episodes a watch. They were amazing, and I'm going to give my review of them right now, but I want to mention something that's going to be different from my last video. I went into this just trying to forget about Season 3. I just pretended like everything was fine. Disney had renewed the show for a full Season 3, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. Because I'm not going to let them ruin my enjoyment of the show right now. So I didn't let it. And it was certainly an experience watching all 5 episodes, one after another. It was a lot, and I'll get to that in a bit, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, spoilers for episodes 1 to 5 of Season 2. I'm not going to spoil 6 to 10, but I am going to spoil 1 to 5. And I'll also talk about some of 6 to 10's stuff vaguely, like I'll mention some of the names, and I'll be vague about it, but I won't spoil anything. So, without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's go over what my hopes were beforehand. I wanted a whole heaping dose of Lumity after.
Don't worry. You always have a way of sneaking into people's hearts.
Oh, and I wanted some more info on that creepy Luz character, which I absolutely loathe, don't get me wrong. You know, there's no way that she can be redeemed. And also I wanted info on Belos building the portal, and what's going on with Philip's diary, you know, uncover more of that lore. And we got some of that. We didn't get too much of the Belos building the portal stuff, but we got a decent amount, but it took it a little slow, which is great because these 5 episodes really focused in and were still just amazing. Now that we're 10 episodes into Season 2, one thing is clear to me. The Owl House is focusing on its biggest strength, their characters. Yes, the story and the mystery, that's all great, and that's just, the show is great for that alone, but the characters and their relationships with each other and their development within themselves, that is what really drives the show forward to me. And that is the Owl House's biggest strength, and it really makes me happy to see that the show's creators have recognized that and have focused on that even more with Season 2. One thing that I found surprising was to see 3 different new characters in these 5 episodes. Like, we know the show's ending not too far from now, so it's surprising to add in new faces. But they're here, and they are all great. Well, there's this one dude that has had an ample time to have character development, and he hasn't had a good amount of character development, and I'm really irritated at him at that point, but that's a whole nother story. Also, I would just like to note, there's this one character who is so special and amazing, and she's so sweet and innocent, and she's already one of my favorite characters. Dana, if you hurt her, I will never forgive you. If you know who I'm talking about, then you know who I'm talking about. Take episode 3, for example, Echoes of the Past. This is all about King, strangely enough, and it's talking about where his dad was and what his past is like, and he's just on a mission to figure out who his dad is, where he came from, what his life was. And while that doesn't hit too hard for me, that will hit hard for a lot of people, especially people who are in a similar situation. And I think that's really deep and thought-provoking, especially for King, and especially just for a cartoon in general, and I think that's really, really great. This focus on character-driven episodes carried over in these new 5 episodes, most prominently in Ida's Requiem, which, without spoiling it, is pretty much all about Ida's past. it's a really great episode while still progressing the plot and the mystery of what's going on. These are great, and I really hope we see more of them in season 2. The writing is also absolutely top-notch. I feel like this season feels completely different. It almost feels like its own show compared to season 1. Because for most of season 1, like at least the first half, it's still kind of hard to rewatch because of how many cringy lines they choose to include, or the filler episodes, and just, it's really, really hard to get through because of cringe and because of just poorly written dialogue. Sure, there's a good show hidden there, but it's not necessarily visible. But that has broken out and has become a great show. I feel like it became like a great show near the end of season 1, and it's just taking that to the next level in season 2. I feel like they just took that first half of season 1, figured out how they wanted to make the Owl House with that first half of season 1, and now they're just going above and beyond. Overall, combined with the first 5 episodes of Season 2, Season 2A has been an absolute triumph. It's an amazing show, and I'm not going to give it any lower than a 10 out of 10, easily. And Dana Terrace finally did what I'm convinced was her mission ever since Season 2 started, and that was to make me cry. She managed to make me cry twice in just 5 episodes, and good job. Stop making me cry so much. But now we're on a hiatus. It might not be a couple of months before the show even goes back on air, and then there's going to probably be another month before episodes start getting put onto Disney+. But, you know, I would be willing to take a year-long hiatus if it meant that Dana could have her full season 3. But, you know, it's not in the cards, you know? But it could be. I mean, there's a chance. You know, I mean, I could just really use a wish right now. I could use a wish right now. No! 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 No!